Hello, Slormatologists, DonTheCrown here, and today I want to talk about an upgrade system that you're probably not using the right way in a Slormancer. This is something that is like kind of fundamental and baseline for the entire game. This is something that's going to benefit you from low level all the way into the deep end game, the very tippity top of min maxing out your character. And that is using the reinforcement or the enhancement system here with Rick Manalan. And basically this is the Slormitizer. And what this is going to do is going to allow us to like level up our gear. You may notice that gear basically gets experience called potential as you run around and kill stuff. And once its potential fills up all the way, you have this little golden cross at the bottom of it. And if you put it in here, you can see you have 100% potential. And if you go to crafting materials, the matching Slormite will be lit up for you. And you can basically just go smack some gold into this and it will level up. We can see the changes in the stats here. So we're getting like a little bit of stat upgrades. This is just really good because each level is going to give you more and more total stats here and just makes your gear a lot more powerful as you level it up. However, there are some issues with this system like right off the bat. Like if I want to replace these gloves, they're already +8. So would I have to level up my gloves like 8 times before they're like on par with the stats for these? And also, how the heck am I, if this is supposed to be tier 0 here, how do I have a tier 16 ring already if that doesn't really go all the way out here? I don't even have that yet. Well, we're going to cover that real quickly. Now, first things first, when we look at these here, we have a couple of different things on the menu. We have potential. This is how much experience the thing has. And this is going to come into like kind of the calculation for how much success chance you have when you put the Slormite in. Critical reinforcement means that if you succeed, you're going to get some potential back. 15% is the base. There's some things that can adjust that. And then we have double reinforcement, which sounds just like it is. If you successfully reinforce this piece of gear, instead of getting 1 level, you'll get 2. And then lastly, failure. Failure chance is kind of special here because failure always eats first. And so if you have 50% chance to fail, even if you add like 10 quintillion chance to succeed, you are still going to have 50% chance to fail. And that is just very important to keep in mind because it's going to eat into everything. We need to negate failure chance if we can. So first things first, we can see here is if I put in a Slormite for this. This is a tier 0, so put in a tier 01. The percent chance to succeed here is going to be equal to my potential. But if we put higher and higher level Slormites here, we can actually get that all the way up to 100% chance to succeed. And I made a little chart here. So Slormites, with the difference here, if you go below the level, so if I was like a level 1, and I put a level 0 in for the Slormite instead, we would still have 10% crit and 4% double, but we'd have 50% failure chance. When it's matched, it's 10, 4, 0, 0. We don't get any bonus to pass. And then for every level we go up in terms of these Slormites here, you're going to get 10% more crit, 5% doubling, and then 25% pass chance, which is just really stinking great. And then on top of that, Slormalines here at the top are each going to be able to give you success chance as well. So if I went here and I put this tier 0 in and I put in a legendary, that will also put it up to 100% because this adds 75% chance to succeed. And so what this allows you to do is just go and level up your gear even when it's brand new. I can just go and put in, I like to go 3+ for the most part to get 75%. Oh, we got a double reinforcement there. And so we just continuously push this up like that, and it makes it just really easy to do. However, eventually you're going to get to the point here where, you know, you might not actually have the Slormite to push this forward. My highest one I have right now available is a tier 10. This is a tier 11 piece of gear. And so we are actually down 1 tier for this. So what do we do? Well, that's when this second piece of technology comes in. and that's the Slormandrites. And so some of these can adjust how much critical strike chance we have, how much doubling chance, the pass percentage, and also can remove failure chance. And yeah, we can pretty much always make sure that we are always going to pass, even on ones that are incredibly high level. I'm not really sure how high level this goes. Some people have said it's infinite, but you could arguably go to like 999 if you have enough materials. So we can put this in here. We have 50% chance to fail. I can go in here and I can just click harmonies like crazy, and it's going to cut into my failure chance. And since this thing has 100% potential, it will just always succeed. And you might think this is the point where I'm going to click deactivate the Slormitizer, but it's not. Because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go and do Slormandrite of Virtue until we get all the way up to 20 of these. So we have a double reinforced chance of 100%. And because this basically gives us 2 upgrades as opposed to 1, and the resource cost is, pretty easy to get, because if I was getting negative 50% with this tier, if this leveled up 1 and I just used the same tier again, we'd have negative 100 on the next one anyways. So it really just makes sense to spend a little bit more now so that we can get a +2 as opposed to a +1. And that because that next +1 would just be expensive anyways as it is. And this is also very important as you go into like the 15s and 16s. You always want to try to be getting a double reinforcement chance. And this is really quite a good thing to do here. And so let's pretend though that instead of doing that, the other option I could do is this. I could go and do Slormandrite of True Potential. And what this will do is if I fail, the potential chance of this gear will not go away. Instead, it will sustain. So I could potentially go once again and, pump in a whole bunch of materials here. And I could drop it down to like 50% chance to succeed, 50% chance to fail. This kind of just depends on like what my material situation is looking like. Like I have a lot of virtues right now. I don't have as many harmonies. Granted, each one of these, I have 61 in right now. Just putting another 50 is not really going to be that big of a deal. So yeah, you can kind of figure out what's going to be best for you. Typically what I like to do is just put in enough harmonies, get down to 0 or maybe like 1% and like risk it for the biscuit. But then 20 of these virtues, and then we're just always going to get a nice double reinforcement there, which is pretty nice. Stats do get really big here, up to 6,734 raw damage on our hat, which I think is just pretty wild. Now, you can go here to the second tab and you can merge Slormites. It's just 3-to-1. And this is going to take a long time to merge all the way up to here, just because kind of how the compounding math works. Like I have 3,000 of these tier 0s, which is only like 1,000 of the tier 1s, which is only like 333 of these, 111 of these, and so on and so forth. In order to make the final ancestral flawless Slormite, you're going to need a absolute boat ton of tier 0s. And I mean that because it's actually like, I think 1.5 million of them. So I don't really see myself merging all the way down from there. You definitely want to find ones that are in the middle here. You can find a lot of these in the Forge or just doing endgame activities like the Nether. Now, the last thing that I want to mention here is that once you have a piece of gear here that maybe you just dropped that has reinforcement already on here, you can actually go and put this in the blacksmith and extract Slormite. And so sometimes, like on my loot filter here, I have everything set up to show if it's reinforcement 8 or above, or maybe some higher. And that away, if I find something that's good that way, I will be able to get a Slormite that is like relatively reasonably useful for me. Unfortunately, this one's only +3, so I think we're gonna end up with a +2 one here. When I knock this out, it'll always give you a heads up before you do it. And you can see there that this went to our +2, which is, just kind of how that works. And yeah, this is just a great way to power up your gear. Once you craft something, get like a new piece of gear, definitely want to try to level up the item level of it, and then level up the reinforcement of it as much as possible, so you can have as much power as you possibly can in your gear, And worst case scenario, you can always take it out later. You do lose quite a bit if you do that over time, but it's just nice to have. And yeah, these gear, if you like end up crafting up a whole bunch of it, it does sell for quite a bit of gold as well, which is pretty nice. Like this one here actually costs I don't know if you can see, 2.2 million, but I think that's because it has a pure stat on it. So if this had like pure stats on there, that'd probably be insane. This one's actually 6.9 million. So this might be one of the better ways to earn gold in the end game, just to level up gear a whole bunch. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you out. I'm working on finding some more better gold finding as well. And we have some other builds and video guides coming out for the game. Come by the stream, say hi. Thanks very much for watching.